My name's David. His name's Henry. I'm part of On the Couch With, and I'm going to be reviewing some alcopops on the YouTube channel. I really like alcopops, and I figured I might as well do something productive with my time. So I have these three that I plan on reviewing, not tonight, because I do plan on editing the video at some point. I'm going to start with the Twisted Tea Bourbon Barrel Aged Tea. Hard iced tea. I've had all three of these before, and the Bourbon Barrel is the most interesting out of the three, and it's probably the most interesting alcopop I've ever seen. Henry won't be ingesting. Henry will not be giving his opinion. I don't think that's legal to make cats drink. Someone correct me on that. So I'm going to return these to the fridge, and we're going to work on reviewing this unexpectedly refreshing Bourbon Barrel Twisted Tea. Alright, so those are in the fridge staying cool. This is fresh from the fridge, just a couple minutes, starting to condense. As you can see, I'm trying to open them as close to the fridge temperature as possible so they're ice cold to start. Let's look at this can for a little bit. We've got True Tea Ice Taste, Twisted Tea, the logo anyone will recognize, hard iced tea. This one has some barrels on it. It's a new styling, obviously, Bourbon Barrel being the gimmick here. It's 5% alcohol by volume, which is pretty low percentage. Good thing, considering it's a nice 24%er, which I call these ultra tall boys. If you have another opinion on what these are called, go ahead and express in the comments. 5% alcohol by volume, malt beverage with select teas, natural flavors, aged on Bourbon Barrel staves. So it's not actually aged in the casks. They seem to just throw some of the wood in the mixing vat. It sounds like it's probably a gross oversimplification of what actually happens. And we have our government warning, Surgeon General, blah blah blah. Do not ingest if you're pregnant. To tell twisted tales or troubles, go to their Twisted website. And then we have this nice little unexpectedly refreshing Twisted Tea. Don't mind Henry. He's just exploring and wants some love. So, since I doubt you have a koozie large enough for this, and unless you have one of those wraparound koozies, but I don't know where mine is. This is going to get warm. These ultra tall boys, they're going to get warm before you get anywhere close to finishing them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crack it and get an initial impression. Try to get to about halfway, and then do another checkpoint about halfway. See what it tastes like. See how it tastes warmed up a little bit after sitting in your hand. You know, you're probably going to be at this, drinking this thing at a nice hot barbecue or a music festival where you're going to be holding it in the hot sun all day. All day, let's be honest. For the 30 minutes it's going to take you to slam it. And then I'd like to do a third check-in, probably somewhere around the bottom third, and see how this tastes all good in room temperature. That's right. I will bring these up to room temperature and drink them for you. Okay, so the Twisted Teas usually aren't effervescent at all. So let's just crack on in. So again, no effervescence here. So when you smell it, you get a little bit of the bourbon woodiness. Henry, you smelling that? You get a little bit of the bourbon woodiness and a little bit of like that sugary tea that you get from the original Twisted Tea, but not as strong on the lemon and not as strong on the sweet. So immediately that's not as sweet as any other alcopop I've had. Definitely not as sweet as the original Twisted Tea. It's still sweet. You know, it's still an alcopop. I'm sure they still added sugar, but it is not nearly as sweet as they usually come. It is really refreshing, and I am getting some bourbon. I mean, I guess I would call that bourbon. I'm definitely getting something. Honestly, this almost tastes like unsweetened tea. Again, I'm comparing this to normal alcopops, to the normal default Twisted Tea. compared to that level of sugar, this almost tastes like unsweetened tea that was left to steep in staves. Um, and there's a little bit of that, it's that smoky bourbony hit that just sort of rounds out the tea. I think this really works. I really like this. Even though I said I like alcopops, sugar's not my favorite flavoring, and alcopops tend to go straight for sugar and then stop there. And this one is going in a different direction. I would like to see more alcopops like this. So initial thoughts are just get a little bit of that sweet tea and a little bit of that bourbon. I'd say Scotch almost. Some brown liquor that was aged in oak. You can definitely taste that. It's not as strong as say one of those ales, the Kentucky bourbon ales. It's not as punch in your mouth strong bourbony flavor as that. But it's there. You can tell it. Okay, I'm gonna go play some Renowned Explorers International Society and drink the rest of this. Drink some of this down to probably about here, and then we'll see how it tastes all when it's a little closer to room temperature. All right. Check in a couple minutes. Let's see if Henry sticks around. So we're back for the halfway mark with this bourbon barrel twisted tea. It's warmed up a little bit. It's still chilly, but it is not refrigerator cold. The bourbon taste gets a little bit more pronounced, and the sweetness dies off too. The longer I drink this, the more this tastes like a woody kind of tea, honestly. The sugar falls off, the bourbon, the sort of woodiness in the bourbon comes up, and the tea, sort of like bitter teeness of it also comes out, which I think is an improvement here. I think this is really good. This came out very recently, and I was kind of skeptical at first when I saw it, but after trying it, and I wish I could see more like this. I wish they would produce more less sweet alcopops. But as it stands, this is pretty tasty, and I want more like this. So, thanks, Henry. As your day drags on, as this gets warm, it's not a problem. It seems so far. We'll see. We're gonna let it get up to room temperature now, and maybe then it'll get real nasty. But it seems to just be getting better as it gets warmer. I mean, honestly, as refreshing as this is cold on a hot day, it's gearing up to look like this might be better not cold. As crazy as that is, what kind of cheap alcohol is better warm than cold? That's why we invented refrigeration, so that we could refrigerate our beer because it tasted awful. Okay, me and Henry are gonna go finish. Finish this off. Do another round in Renowned Explorers, and then I'll see you back for the last checkpoint, and we'll finish this off. See ya. Hello for the third and final time. I've got a couple sips left in here. This bourbon barrel twisted tea is room temperature now. So I was right. It did get a little less sweet. The tea flavor actually became more pronounced as it got warmer. But one bad thing that happened here, and one thing I haven't mentioned yet, is that there was almost no booziness to it. There was definitely some of the the bourboniness, and you could tell that, but there was hardly any booziness. But what happens as this approaches room temperature is that it gets boozy. That booziness that is the flavor of bourbon, cheap bourbon, that starts to come out. That's the flavor that starts getting pronounced once this gets to room temperature. And then also, there's a whole lot of that malt alcohol taste, and you can start even getting that in the nose now on the scent of it. So if you're someone that really hates the flavor of that malty alcohol that some of these have, you're going to want to down this quick or find it in a smaller can or share it with a friend, pour it out. That's what I forgot to do. Jump cut. So I completely forgot that I wanted to pour this out and see what color it was. So while we still have some left, now I didn't pour it out initially, drinking it from the can, because I believe that's how God and the manufacturer intended it to be drank. So that's all we have. There we go. So the color is tea. Nothing unusual I can see about it. It's got that sweet tea. It's got that tea kind of like, not busyness, but the way bubbles form on it. Arizona sweet tea does the same thing. Yeah, that's a pretty standard color. Some of these, if you actually see them, they are some crazy fluorescent colors. Yeah, so that was very enjoyable. I would definitely buy this again. I will buy this again. I have bought it again. This is not the first can I've bought. But just because I've bought something more than once doesn't mean I actually like it. So like I said, I have the two other ones. There is it's not your dad's, no, it's the Best Darn Cola. Best Damn Cherry Cola, I think is the name of it. And then a Seagram's. It's the peach. I can't think of the line name, escapes me because I just slammed that rule. But it's the Seagram's Breezers, not the Breezers, but it's a Seagram's Fuzzy Peach. You saw it earlier. I'll check back and put the name on it and feel like a dumbass. So I want to do those two. Spoilers, I like one of them. I wasn't a fan of the other. But we will see when we get to that. So, this has been David from On the Couch With. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and share. Please subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, twitch.tv/onthecouchwith, and follow us on Twitter @onthecouchwith. All one word, no underscores, no spaces, no dashes, no crazy symbols. And if you really like what we're doing, you can hit the donate button in the description below. So this has been David from On the Couch With, drinking Twisted Tea, Hard Iced Tea, Bourbon Barrel. Thank you, and tune in again, please. Is that tasty? Is it a good one? I think it's a good one. Henry, you're a wreck. Henry, you're made of fur. There's no flesh here. There's no flesh in this body. It's just fur and it sloughs off. I brushed the hell out of you. Oh man, and after I brush you, I have to vacuum the damn apartment. I have to.